Loot Bet. Made for live betting.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
It's the quick scope! This is unreal! Anything is possible! Anything is possible! You still always a monster, Tom!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are here with StarSeries, of course. This is day one, and yeah, we're going to be going into what is the third match of the day. And I'm looking forward to it, like pure Kazakhstanians.
Yeah, you know, you can't get enough of that. You know, we can see the matches that have gone on today. We had Liquid taking a 2-0 versus NRG. Some good stuff there. SK Gaming, that was actually a very good series, Tom. I don't know if you caught that. That was a 2-1 versus Flash. There you go, obviously beating out VP just moments ago. That was always fun. And then Na'Vi versus Tyloo also just came to a conclusion with Tyloo winning. So the Asian team showing up in spades today, Tom.
Yeah, and Vici, they definitely they should have taken their match. So yeah, it's actually quite interesting that, well, SK just squeezed through. Virtus Pro, well, if we're talking about sort of best team in Poland, it looks like they haven't been that for a while, and AGO have proven it with a 2-0 fashion. And yeah, Tyloo, but it's always one of those things where when Tyloo or any Asian team get Mirage, I'm just looking at it and going, why have you let them get, why? They always win on Mirage, just like the upset map, and then they managed to do it on Overpass as well. So impressive stuff, some highlight moments for sure, and I'm hoping we'll get a little bit more with this matchup because it's actually sort of a rematch. Now, obviously, in terms of our qualifiers, the teams that managed to win CIS and NA were actually NRG and AVANGAR. And then Gambit and Renegades were actually two teams that both lost, but based on other teams turning down invites, they were then given the opportunity because they both finished second. So we've already seen this match in our qualifier, and AVANGAR actually beat Gambit, which was the sort of shock horror in that like qualifier. Because when you look at sort of CIS teams, I think it was obvious that Na'Vi were going to be invited. They got to the final last time, but Gambit haven't had some of the better performances, so they didn't get a direct invite. They had to go through that qualifier, and they failed. That's the fact. Like, they're here based on a little bit of luck, and they definitely have a lot to prove.
Yeah, you know, Gambit and luck seem to be two terms that are like a little bit synonymous right now. Obviously, they also just qualified for ESL1 Cologne thanks to Hellraiser's having a drop out at that final.
Like Angel had a wedding.
He had a wedding to go to. In all fairness, I heard he gave the team literally almost a year's notice. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you know, like you can't actually blame the guy. You know, they had months of knowing that this was the one day they couldn't play.
I'm pretty sure that means that he's had that planned longer than some of the players have actually been in the team.
Yeah, which is always fun.
Just when they joined, it was just like, by the way.
I say like almost a year. I think it was like 6 months, but still, that's quite a while, you know, like that. In esports, that's like 10 years. So
that really is.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing next week.
So, yeah, that's very true. Me either. As you said, Tom, these teams, they've already played. We saw it up on the screen a minute ago. They played on Train and Mirage, and AVANGAR able to win it out in a pretty swift 2-0, all things considered. Mirage was a little bit closer. Gambit recently, I think they've looked good. They recently bought in Mir or Mir, depends how.
I always say Mir.
I always say Mir.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, no, I'll go with Mir because it does look more correct, I guess, because it is an I, not an E. So yeah, there we go. That's just some reading of letters for you. Really spicing things up. Now, Gambit recently, I think they've looked pretty good, Tom. I saw them beat Space Soldiers in a best-of-3. I saw them beat Heroic in a best-of-3. You know, and I saw them take SK to 3 maps, for example. I've seen a lot out of this Gambit roster
I feel like
as of late.
SK, you're just sort of like...
Yeah, that's pretty true.
You're a bit questioning it at the moment.
That is pretty true. You do question it at the minute. And plus, actually, good benchmark in that regard. AVANGAR recently played SK as well. But on LAN, I believe they were both at the... I don't remember the name of the event. But
it's like the Adrenaline Cyber something or other cup
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly. You know, admittedly, they lost there. But
they did
still,
beat VP as well.
Yeah, they did. They've been doing well. AVANGAR have looked impressive. I think both these teams have something unique to offer, Tom.
Yeah.
But, but I want to hear more about your opinion on this matchup.
Well, I think, firstly, like, Gambit, there's been questions called for quite a while. In-game leading is just like, who even knows anymore? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like a few months down the line we actually see them just bring in someone to IGL because they've just tried to keep switching things around. Seized, he hated in-game leading at Na'Vi, or it seemed like it anyway. He wasn't given that much of a chance. Comes here and then they go, so Seized. Do you want to try and game leading? And I can't imagine that conversation went particularly well.
Well, I mean, before that they had Fitch as the IGL, right?
I don't know. I know that they've had Dosia, they've had...
Because I swear the original reason for Fitch joining was to IGL, but it might have been as a mad fragger. But yeah, he actually just came back on their transfer list.
Well, yeah, that's a fun thing. I think
so maybe we see some spice there, but who knows?
I think it was just because his loan ended.
Yeah, no, his loan did end. I don't even remember who he was loaned to, but I always liked Fitch. I'll be honest.
Well, I actually want to see, now it can happen because both of them are free agents. I want Ramzik and Fitch back together, the deadly duo. Because that was when both of those players looked at their best, when they were playing with each other. Ramzik, interestingly, actually came into AVANGAR for a little bit for Jame, and then they went, actually, we kind of like Jame better. So then now they've got Jame back in the roster. I bet that must have been quite awkward for him. Just like, yeah, you're out. Actually, we realized that the guy we're getting is not better than you. So do you want to come back? Like, and they have managed to do pretty well with him.
That's like just calling up an ex. That is like, we've made a mistake. Please, like, you know, we've realized life is not better without you. Get back in it. I haven't actually seen much of AVANGAR.
Ramzik can't do what you do.
I haven't. This is getting a little bit spicy, Tom. I haven't seen much of AVANGAR play. You have, you know, like who are the players I should be looking out for?
I don't know. I think it's quite difficult because they are sort of a roster that there's a lot of sort of talented players in there. I'm sort of a big fan when it comes to like Buster. I think Buster's pretty damn good, so I would be someone to highlight. But it's sort of like, I don't know. It's sort of like one of those teams where there's multiple different players who can go off the chains. I think Jame is very good with that all, but not necessarily the most consistent player in the world. I actually want to just see how Mir fits into this Gambit roster.
Yeah.
Because
I'll be honest, when I saw them online, he didn't really seem to be doing anything that amazed me.
First couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally his first day in the roster, so it can be.
But then this is his first day on LAN with them, so the pressure hasn't necessarily gone.
No, he's definitely been thrown at the deep end, right? Like, oh yeah, no, mate, come be in the roster. It's like, okay, so we're trying to qualify for ESO on Cologne. Oh, and then also the day after that, we have StarSeries. So
just
you know,
show up.
If you could really bring your A game. That would be great, and you know, yeah, me understandably probably a little bit stressed. I would be.
The thing is, when it came to that Vegas Squadron roster, he was standout the best player. Like, you would have other players have good maps. I think Chopper, when we saw during the major or the major qualifier at least, he had like an incredible performance, but that's never been consistent. Whereas Mir would constantly get like 20, 25 kills throughout games, and he could turn rounds on his head. So I think in terms of individual skill and talent, that's definitely going to be something that's valuable to this roster because all in all, okay, you do have players who can go off. There's no doubt about that. But I think a lot of them have hit their sort of form and then it's gone. Like, Hobbit definitely isn't having the same sort of form we saw anywhere near that major. Adren, although normally the consistent fragger hasn't necessarily been going off, I think it's actually been Mo recently who's been one of the better players for the team, where he was sort of normally in the middle ground and then occasionally would have a sort of top game. So I think having a more consistent fragger could be good. The problem I have is Vegas Squadron style was almost silly. Like, well, when they played at the major, they played in a style that nobody knew how to play against because it was so ridiculous. They're basically playing T-side on the CT side of maps. So he was able to do things that in a normal regiment, you would be told off for. Like, I could imagine him playing under someone like MSL, and MSL's head would explode because you just see him running up mid every single round and trying to take these fights. Or it just is not something you can get away with. So I am more interested to see, with him coming into this roster, can he fit in? Can he like still put up those big numbers and actually take this team further? Because I think that's ultimately why they had the whole like kerfuffle at that in Vegas Squadron. Because I think him and many other people realize, okay, there is much more to this player than him being in Vegas Squadron and upsetting teams and doing some decent stuff at the major. There's definitely more to him. The problem was, it was when that whole Na'Vi scenario came around, it was like, okay, who are they going to get? And a lot of people like Electronic, another group of people were saying Mir. They went with Electronic, and he'd sort of already like burnt the bridge with Vegas Squadron. He's like, I don't even like Sharks. I just want, and they went, okay, well, you're on the bench. And then he never got picked up by anyone. And then I think it was then that we saw Na'Vi actually do pretty well. Like, they got to the final of StarSeries. Gambit, as well, got to the semi-final. So everybody went, well, they're not going to pick anyone up now. Like, that would be illogical. And so Mir was just like, I do kind of like Sharks. Like, just sat on the bench, just hoping that something would happen there. And, well, it has. He's now here. He's with Gambit. I don't think anything official. Like, I think I saw a HLTV thread which said something along the lines of, Gambit are interested in Mir. It's like, well, yeah, he's playing events with them. I think, like, but it's nothing concrete. It's nothing concrete.
Yeah. I mean, even when we got told about it when we were doing the Cologne qualifiers, we were told like he's standing in. So it's there's nothing like official there yet. And I think a lot of that's gonna be based on these first few performances.
He's got his own jersey though.
He certainly does. You know, they want to kit him out, make him look beautiful in that Gambit attire.
Because that's the thing though. When a player normally stands in, they normally wear their own jersey, because you're not allowed, like, you're not really supposed to if you play for another team or a part of another organization. I feel like they shouldn't be very happy if you're sat there in full Gambit gear when they're like, we own you, you're part of Vegas Squadron, you've signed something. Well, it is. It's like you've signed something that says you'll wear their attire. So I feel like there has to be more than just like they're interested, because he is sat in
nice.
full
I feel like we work
Gambit
for like
gear.
a tabloid magazine. Like, what is happening between Mir and Gambit? Are they dating, or is this just a casual relationship? I don't know, Tom.
Are they just doing it for the tabloids?
Yeah, exactly. Is this all just for publicity? Who knows? What's going on? But yeah, then, you know, the guys we see on the screen right now, the AVANGAR boys. I haven't really got to see too much of these guys play, but they're always fun whenever they're at events, because it feels like they always throw upsets around. But I feel like Gambit also fit into that same category in a sense. So now we kind of have two upset teams going head to head.
Although the upset here would definitely be if Gambit lost, but it's already happened once.
Well, exactly. Though, at that point,
online.
Is it an upset? You know,
I'd still say it is. I think this for AVANGAR, like, obviously we've seen them go to some of the,
just
like,
hacking the mainframe quickly. Yeah, continue.
They've gone to like the major qualifier before, like obviously going through the CIS minor, and they were disappointing. Like the different players within this team, and I think that's always been the case. And I don't think we've seen them qualify for anything this stacked before. Like the last couple of StarSeries, there's obviously a lot of top teams, a lot of teams that are expected to be in that sort of final third. A lot of teams that have already lost expected to be in that sort of later stage, especially Na'Vi, SK almost meeting the same fate. So I think there's a lot of potential for upsets in this tournament, which definitely makes things very exciting. The problem is, not only, so for starters, Gambit, out of all the teams that are going to know what AVANGAR can do, a team that just beat them in the online qualifier and a team that is full of players from their same region, it's almost sort of like a scouting mission. If they do manage to beat them, you could say Gambit could just go, we're having him. Because I can't imagine the AVANGAR organization have the buyouts that Gambit wouldn't be able to cope with. So it's definitely going to be a sort of interesting scenario to see whether or not they go into this, like, basically saying, you know, we've got to play this one properly. Because that's what I look at sometimes when I see this Gambit team. Like, when I feel like they're another one of those sort of like VP, where they can play against some of the best teams in the world and bring a really close match, and then they can play against teams that are nowhere near their level, and it will still be a really close match because they just play to the level of who they're up against. And that's the biggest problem with this team. That's why we've seen them win a major, and then we've seen them, like, not that long after bomb out of tournaments. It's just how it's always been. They are not necessarily consistent, and I think this is a matchup that just to sort of get themselves off to a good start, they have to win. Because if they lose this one, there are some nasty teams down there. You would not want to go 0-1 and then meet Na'Vi, go 0-2, and you're sat there going, we lose one more map and we'll match and we're out of this.
Yeah, especially, you know, with the amount of upsets that have been thrown in on day one, it always makes day two so interesting, you know, because suddenly it's like, you know, they're going down in the 0-1 state becomes like a real scary place to be.
Especially, like, even consider later today, we've got Renegades versus Godsend. Those two teams, if their players go off, they can beat anyone. You don't, like, there's no, like, that's the thing. I've always said it, like, in these sort of tournaments, although there's teams that seem like easy matchups, there are no easy matchups. The Asian teams can easily throw in upsets. Vici almost managing to beat SK earlier in the day just by, like, sheer level of firepower and really catching them off guard. It happens all the time. Normally by day two, teams learn that, but either way, we're into our pistol round. A little bit of utility for Dosia and a kit and a smoke for Quicket. Other than that, it is just straight Kevlar.
Yeah, it most definitely is, Tom. Mo going to be leading the charge in towards lower tunnels here. James is up in the window. And they're going to go creeping on out Hobbit. And Mo trying to force their way up through connector. Chris is going to be the first point of contact, but he's actually the first man to fall. James able to reply with one of his own, and maybe even a second as well. As you can see, Quicker going to come rotating in to help him out. Down goes Mo. And Bomb trying to get into the bomb site. It's Adren and Mir finding frags that might facilitate the bomb plant. Quicker going to try and deny it. Does manage the first, and Doja's going to fall shortly after. It's Mir 1v2 with that P250. Does manage the first. The bomb isn't planted for him, and Quicker has the kit, so he's just able to stick it. AVANGAR didn't look like it was going to go their way early on, but they're able to find themselves the pistol round.
Yeah, definitely not the best start for Gambit, but they do get themselves the bomb down. I was wondering if Mir was going to be able to clutch that one out, and he does actually get a bit of Kevlar here. Okay, so already we see an AK actually juggled over. It's going to be a Drem picking up. I'm actually quite interested by that alone. I wonder if, I'm guessing nobody else could actually drop him one. Mo's somewhat bought into this as well, mainly because he's not going to be able to afford his AWP into the next round anyway, and I don't think he minds particularly going down on a pistol or something else. And, well, there is a Dren kicking things off. Manages one, but it's very quickly traded out by Krizen, who doubles back with the M4. And, well, the CT side, they've gone pretty safe with their buy, but just bear in mind that every single player that they lose is a rebuy that's going to be forced. The Ts are likely to be buying up into the next round anyway. Mir even has some Kevlar behind the AK-47, but he's being tagged very low and hunted.
Yeah, so they're going to get off to a pretty quick 2-0 start. It was interesting from Gambit in that round to buy down on a couple of players, but you can see the effect that that's had. Mir now relegated down to just the CZ and Armor in this round. Putting a lot of faith in him over in the previous. Mo actually relegated down to the Galil as well. Over on the side of AVANGAR, they've got, well, weapons, I was going to say plenty. They've had to rebuy a few of these players, which does help. You can see Krizen having the M4, but for the most part, it is the attempt at the bonus round here from AVANGAR. Well, they're going to go pushing on in over here towards the A-bomb site. They were going to actually fall at the first hurdle. Krizen, the attention falls on him to try and answer back. They're going to go pushing on in. Doja, the first man to fall. They haven't been able to deal with Krizen just yet. That Incendiary enough to deny the bomb plant for the time being. Rotations coming through, and interestingly enough, Tom, if you look on the map, James and Quicker both going in through T-spawn. They're the linchpins, and as Krizen doubles down once again, it's Mo left in a 1v2, and I don't think he's ready for either one of these players in the back line. Indeed, he is not. So AVANGAR, very, very good start. That was the bonus round as well, Tom. Cash is just overflowing here for the CT side. Over for Gambit, money has all but ran dry.
Yeah, definitely not the start that Gambit were looking for. Going to be able to invest into a few pistols in this round, but nothing too insane. And yeah, these sort of double force buy rounds didn't actually warrant too much. Like, I expected a bit more from the AK-47, expecting a Dren to really make things difficult, but here we go. Krizen. Try and kick things off. Has himself that M4, and well, this is just going to be another one of those sort of slaughter rounds. He is tagged low at least, but the remaining players are just going to farm up the cash, and all it comes down to, well, is not a single frag going the way. Perfect for AVANGAR, so much money made. The Ts will get themselves a buy, but the fact is, even still, they can't get that AWP in onto Mo, and yeah, AVANGAR still come in with one onto James, who, as said, he is a beast at times. It's just which James
beast
going to...
at times.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to be a beast all the time. He's more like a werewolf.
Okay.
Like if there's a full moon.
If there's a full moon, well, Tom, it's middle of the day right now, so James going to be hard pressed.
Not in this
but let's
room.
see.
In this room,
right
it could
now,
be any time you
it
want
is any
to be.
time of the day. There is no time in esports. Here we go. James going to lead the charge with the orb. Well, he's been managed to find the first kill. Buster's going to be there to help him out, and actually it's just a slaughter. AVANGAR really impressing right now as Gambit can't seem to get a word in edgeways. It is just a Dren, Hobbit and Doja left alive. Kind of weird to think that, you know, between those three names, you have a bunch of major winners.
AVANGAR, not so much.
No, but right now, you know, you wouldn't believe that.
They're beating a
Yeah, you wouldn't
bunch of-
believe that if I told you, Tom. AVANGAR sitting 4-0 up. Doja down here on the ramp. The bomb's still left back in T-spawn. They're going to have to go back around and grab it. That's a Dren. That falls onto him. And it looks like it's going to be the A split. If you look at the map right now, you can see you have Doja on the ramp. Bomb's going to be looping back through T-spawn. Going to go ahead and join up with him. And I think a Dren does have one smoke, so they can go ahead and throw that in. But that's all they've got. So with only one, you imagine that's going to fall down in CT or perhaps deep into jungle. They've elected instead to not throw it out just yet. Hobbit going to be able to find that first frag out through Hector. They have to get past Dima here. And he's going to find the first. The bomb's dropped now. It's Doja 1v4, not looking likely.
Yeah, it really isn't. He's got so much left to do and very little time to do it. And the CT side still have an abundance of utility to try and hold them back. Dosia does manage to get himself an opener. And if there's an overface or two, maybe there's a chance. He'll get a double, but it's not enough. And that's actually going to be the team ace coming in for this CT side. So much cash still to play with. And the T's, they're left with very little. They've got the max loss bonus behind them. I'm hoping we'll just see a few pistols going into this round. And then we can finally have that AWP onto Mo, which could definitely be a game changer at times. However, for now, it is going to be 5-0 and a chance to make it 6.
Yeah, this force buy for Gambit has to work wonders. They're going to head over here towards the B-bomb. So I haven't really seen an all-in B play from them just yet. Quick heads here. He's going to try to smoke that off once the Molotov starts to fade. He's going to go in, and the Dren just on the other side of this smoke. Will they be ready for quicker? They're going to go running by him. There's the first man down, and the second, that's the bomb dropped as well, quite crucially. Rotation's going to start to come through from the rest of the squad, and this round is not looking good for Gambit. All their fans around the world. The Dren going to answer back with the Deeg. But the rotation's already coming through. They've been able to retrieve the bomb at least. So now they can switch things up.
Yeah, plenty of time still on the clock, but the trade definitely not worthwhile, and the chances of them really reducing AVANGAR's economy too much is fairly slim. They are still going to leave this to just try and sneak back in towards that B site, but James is ready and waiting with that AWP and even has some support from short as well. He's even spotted the man in a Dren, and that's the bomb down once more. As the time does start to become a bit of a factor. Look at the position of Hobbit though. Never mind. Chrism will just execute him. And again, there's going to be another clean-ish round with only Quicker lost. 6-0, the bank of AVANGAR through the roof.
You're never meant to say this, Tom, but imagine a world where AVANGAR 16-0 Gambit
Why
on
have
LAN.
you said it?
Because, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to dig them out of trouble here with the ability of the caster's curse.
You're trying to jinx it so that then it can't happen.
Yeah, many a man has tried to tame the caster's curse, Tom, and
many have failed.
Yeah, I certainly won't be the first, and I doubt I'll be the last, but yeah, it doesn't usually work. Let's see.
Your chair's going to break now.
Yeah.
You tried too hard.
I'm just going to get impaled or something. Like a bit of like the lightning rig's going to come down and just kill me. It's like, yeah, well, he tried.
We got a big like Overwatch poster in here, so maybe like an Overwatch fan's just going to come out and take you down.
Ugh. Overwatch. The only Overwatch I know is the one that's used to ban people in CS, Tom. That's the only Overwatch worth spending any time on. Here's Hobbit down in the bottom of mid. You know, Mir and Mo are both there with him. And they're going to be aggressing down through short. Now, Buster's got a lot to do over here in the ladder room. He's actually been left to watch mid and the aggression in through Catwalk. So, definitely not an easy task ahead of him. Mir's going to be the first man to step up to the plate for Gambit. And Buster, he's going to go ahead and take his head clean off. So, Ooh, second kill of the round for Buster. Mo's able to get the trade, but still 2 versus 4. Doja and Mo, what are they made of?
Mo is at least doing work, but he's going to need to be less like Mo and more like Moses, as he needs some sort of miracle here, because this is just not working out at all. A 1 versus 4. He does have himself a couple, but he needs the ace to try and finish this off, and he's nowhere near the bomb. Simple kill for Demasic, bit of an off angle from him, and it's 7-0 at the moment for AVANGAR on their CT side. Now, this is their map choice, and Overpass is the second, which has always been a pretty good map for Mo and for Gambit, so hopefully we'll get to see something from them, but Mir, one of his best maps has always been this one, Mirage. CT side was always prominent and strong, and at least for now, they are getting absolutely dominated. And I haven't really seen anything that has made me think that that is going to change. That was their full buy round. That was pretty much everything invested, and the only person who gets a single kill in it is Mo.
Indeed, Tom. Indeed. Once again, just re-hacking the mainframe, trying to spice things up in the simulation.
I don't actually know how much of that goes through the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm hoping some, so I don't just sound like I keep making this joke for no reason. But 7-0 for AVANGAR, Tom. This is ridiculous. I agree, right? This is not really a good map for me. You look at it as well, and you have other guys within this squad who famously, you know, have been pretty proficient over on Mirage. I mean, this is one that, yeah, you could kind of think about like the raw talent in this team as well. Like Adren's a pretty keen gamer when he wants to be Hobbit as well. Definitely Mo's good on the AWP usually, but we haven't really seen him have it too many times right now for Gambit. It's causing some real problems. AVANGAR being up 7-0. They've kept most of the rounds pretty damn clean as well, so money is accruing over on this CT side. And Gambit, well, they've gotten desperate. They've gone back to basics. Just going to go for the set piece into the A-bomb site. The wall of smoke's going to rain on in. They have one on the stairs, one for the cross, and then one down in CT. You can already see Demon's here. He's going to get Molotov'd out of position. I think that was actually a team Molotov, so he does get offered up to Mir at the very least. Chris is going to try and answer back falls, but they're just aggressing through the smoke, and this is picture perfect. You have Quicker holding the line. Buster's come through the smoke to help him out, and they're able to trade things effectively. They do win the round. It's not the cleanest win, Tom, but they managed to find themselves an 8th on the board, and they still have so much money. I saw a couple of players there with 12,000 or thereabouts, so yeah. AVANGAR are looking fantastic right now. Yeah, and wow, the other thing is it's one of those classic problems of if you burst out the ramp, is if you just get stuck, and it just happened towards the end of the round where it was just going to bombardment of utility, remaining players are watching the same angle. There was no way that Gambit were ever getting out of that, but 8-0, another dominating start for the underdogs here today, and well, wondering if there's going to be any change in the script, because at the moment, AVANGAR look like they have this one dead to rights. We do have that AWP back in onto Mo, and the T side have an abundance of utility other than Dosia. The question is, can they find any sort of opener here? They've really struggled, and you can see the CT side starting to gain in confidence. They've got a little bit of a push coming in from Jame over towards the ramp, and you got even players like peeking onto short and stuff. It's not like they're playing passive by any stretch of the imagination. Mo, okay, his AWP took ages to spawn, and now he's holding nothing. But minute left, the T's start to move a little bit. They start to try and take a bit more control. The CTs actually have a double short play at the moment, maybe expecting a little bit more over towards his side. Mir pre-firing the angle. Instead, he's met by Buster, who will take him down at least low on HP, and James has already found an opener here, so it's 45 seconds left, and nothing has been achieved by the T side whatsoever. They've got no control of the map. Okay, they've taken middle, but the CT side have almost allowed them to do that by playing different positions around the connector and short. 30 seconds now counting, and they may even lose control of the bomb. That's the thing. Even if they run back and get the bomb, they're going to be low on time. Yeah, the only kind of hope here is with that frag from Adren, he's actually opened up the A-bomb site. But even then, you can see the pressure that Mo, if we can switch over to him, he's about to be under. He's going to go running in through T-spawn. He's going to run into Jabe. And you imagine he's not ready for this. He's probably just going to have knife out. There's the bomb drop. The round is over. There's no way of them getting back into it. In spite of the frags that just came in over towards short and inside the A-bomb site, Adren would have to kill both of these players now to win the round, and it's just not happening. So AVANGAR, they're going to find themselves a 9th. They're looking good right now, Tom. There is no denying it. And even though you see those kills start to come in, you start to get hopeful. They leave the bomb back in T-spawn. Rookie mistake.
It's just messy.
And I mean, that's the thing, right? I you know, you kind of think when you get to like a pro level, you get to this level of CS, Tom, you know, those sort of mistakes don't happen, but they definitely do. I mean, recently, you know, I saw Space Soldiers lose 3 rounds across 2 days by leaving the bomb too far away from the bomb sites. Now that's tilting. You know, it's a little bit different, of course, to what we just saw there. The plan was just to rotate back and get it, but they lost control regardless. And Jane once again with the opener, man advantage gain for AVANGAR. Seems to be the story of every round here. Team is down in CT, going to get forced off the angle, doesn't go re-peeking into it. Instead, he's going to wait for the rest of the team now to come rotating in. And it looks like they're just setting up for the retake this time around. Now, Hobbit, that's a big kill to find. 4 on 4, Chris is going to tag down Doja. Let this bomb go down. Buster has finally managed to finish off the IGL for Gambit. They're going to keep creeping in. 4 versus 3 in the retake.
Dren up in Palace. They've got to watch out from mid. The problem is they don't actually have that much control around the bomb, and a lot of positions are being given away. And Dren will find one and a double, but now he's all that remains, and they're just going to get on this bomb. Hobbit, he can't find the spray through, and it's going to be diffused before either of these players can be ended. He doesn't want to lose his life here either. Might as well keep that AK-47 in play. But it is now 10 rounds on the trot for AVANGAR. That one was a little bit closer, but that was such a basic sort of attempt from Gambit. Just explode into the A site. Their lurker was taken down very early in the round, and now these sort of limitations are still coming in where they can't get the AWP onto Mo. We've seen him get a couple of his kills with it. It is just bleak for them. Again, James is set up and waiting, and they are looking like they're going to continue with these more sort of basic strategies. There's 4 players set up outside of the A site. Adrian just lurking around that smoke. But we're yet to see any of the sort of star players of this team step up. Demastic even able to take himself that opener. Dosia just trying to run in and sort of help out, and it will actually be Mo to trade things back, and they're just going to execute off of this. Pushing in towards it. Mir now opens up as well. Maybe this could be the first round on the board as Crizin is being peppered within the smoke, and now Quicker is the only one left.
Yeah, Gambit looks like they finally found a way of having some success over here towards the A-bomb site. Quicker at a 1v4. Not looking likely. They spot him out. Mo going to finish things off. So Gambit, it took them 11 rounds, but they finally managed to get their first on the board. There's still plenty of money up for AVANGAR, but one thing that is important to note, Tom, for a team that was 10-0 up, you note then towards the end that money started to become a bit of a problem for the CT side. You know, they were having rounds where only 1 or 2 players are surviving. In fact, they had 2 rounds where 2 players survived back-to-back. So money started to dwindle down, and as a result, you know, they've bought into this one. At one point in time, they had $12,000 almost across the board. Now this is their last buy if they lose this round. They're going to be eco into the next, so it's a lot on the line, but lots of aggression in from Jamie. He's only going to manage the first. 4 on 4. Big round for Gambit to win here. Doja, once again, doing more damage out here towards this A-bomb site. Has found them an opening. Buster goes down at short. Crizin going to try and do what he can, but Doja doesn't let that happen. Instead, it's Quicker. He was left in a 1v3. Not meant to happen. Gambit find a second round, just like that. I was going to say they've reset the AVANGAR economy, but they've gone for a risky purchase. They've thrown that 1 AWP out. Yeah,
They're going to rely all on James here, and the thing is, well, in the last round, at least he went for such a Hail Mary play. It was almost just hoping that there was only 1 player into middle. So, yeah, risky stuff. And there's still a chance that Gambit can get back into this one. They finished with 5 rounds on the T side. It's not unheard of that the comeback can come in, especially with the players they've got. And this time, Mo, a little bit quicker on the timing. He is going to be able to open up onto that AWP. It's quickly retrieved, but different players now aggressing from this Gambit roster as they clean up some of the remaining players. Only 2 down, and it will be Quicker and Buster to try and bring this back. Well, actually, they're going to find themselves a couple of kills. The bomb's still pushing into that connector. Now, they should know that both players are over towards this A side of the map, and it seems like at least Hobbit has worked that one out. Buster may just want to save this into the next round and try and at least have something to play with, because a 1 versus 3 retake on the B site is inevitable / impossible.
Not only that, if he holds under the AWP, they can get a buy into the next round, right? That's the most crucial thing, I think, to take away from this. They get $1,900 at the end of this one. Which, you know, you're looking at Buster on your screen. He's only got 1,500, so he's not going to have, you know, like the best buy, but he can throw the AWP over. The Jame, at least, obviously, they went for that risky investment. They're going to go hunting him down. Gambit know what's at stake here. So they do want to try and take this AWP away. Now going to be heading as one buster. Misses the shot. That's the AWP gone. Gambit. And they're going to find themselves another round. This is a nice little resurgence from them. I'm curious to see what the money situation is going to be like now for the AVANGAR guys. They would have had enough to have bought up in this round. And yeah, they do. So they've gone for it. They haven't opted to go for another, I don't know, like a partial buy like we see some teams do. They've erected just 4 rifles on out, 4 rifles, 1 UMP. A little bit of utility to play with. 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs.
Does the FAMAS really count? We just call it an SMG.
Nah, don't give the kill reward, Tom.
Neither does a P90.
Is the
what you got now?
Really a gun, Tom?
Well, yeah. It's not a good one, but it is a gun.
Touche. I'm just part of the Bison fan club waiting for that gun to have its resurgence, but over here towards the
it needs more bullets.
This is important. Here's the stack. 4 players here for AVANGAR. And Gambit about to go walking into this. They have to clear close on ramp. Demon's going to be the man to try and bait while Crizzen lies in the corner. It's the bait and switch. Mo takes the first peek, and now they've got their attention. But Crizzen, quick double, maybe even a third. He's going to manage all 3, and that is massive. The bomb gets dropped down on ramp. Doja goes walking his demise. It's Adren. 1 versus 3, all the way back in T-spawn. 50 seconds on the clock and the bomb down.
Yeah, the King with 100 ping, but not today. He hasn't really been either of those 2 things. And we'll see if he can finally step up to the marker. 3 players left to find. Economy not in the best state either. Although they will buy, of course, going into the next round. He's going to try and sneak in, but Jame will already execute him. He's not going to be able to open anything up.
Yeah, he really did bottle it there towards the end. That's going to be the round back for AVANGAR, 11-3. Buy does come through for Gambit. That's one thing that they can look forward to. The T side is just cheaper to exist on anyway. But also, you know, they kept a few of those rounds pretty clean. Obviously, 2 players surviving in the round prior, so that's why it's been called into question a little bit for a team that had 1-3 in a row. But crucially, they've got the AWP out on Mo. 2 rifles, 3 rifles. A Galil is a rifle. And Buster up in the window, going to be able to get the first kill, then traded out by Hobbit as he perishes in the fire and flames. 4 on 4, giving up a man early on over in mid. Mo, how's he managed to get here? How have they let someone get so deep into the A-bomb site? They had no clue. 2 players fall in connector, and suddenly it's Jame left in a 1v3 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, a lot left to do, and he doesn't have a kit either, so this is going to be very difficult indeed. A mistake needs to be made, and that might have been it. Mo has just handed him a frag. I wonder if there's any kits to be found. The man in window doesn't seem to have had one, and of course, last round of the half, so no reason for Jay to try, or Jame even, to try and save this one. He's lost a couple of letters there. Dren waiting in middle is going to make this nigh on impossible. Dosia just sitting back and relaxing. Wasn't even looking at his monitor in that second. And yeah, I think this one may just be done. Padding of stats a little bit. And it is now going to be 11-4. The half is done. AVANGAR will take it. And yeah, Gambit, they've got a long comeback if they're going to be able to come into this one.
They most certainly do, but they're able to recover from what was looking like a disastrous half into just like a pretty bad half, you know. But 4 rounds, that's still okay. That's one thing we can take away from this for Gambit. Now, my laptop, not laptop, my computer just crashed, so we're all good. This is great, Tom. I think, you know, for Gambit...
I'll be honest, I think you should give up with that computer.
Yeah, me too.
It has gone a few times. You've got your preview monitor. Do you not trust the observers, Harry?
No, I do. I just... you know, I like to be able to look at the map. I like to be able to take it all in. But, you know, I can do all that. I can do all that on here, Tom. It's fine. So,
all right.
Taking a look at the buy coming on in for Gambit. Going to be armor across the board. They don't get a kit, interestingly enough. No utility either. Out for AVANGAR. They've got 1 smoke on Quicker. It looks like it's going to be a fake as he throws it out into the A-bomb site. Idea here is utility's pretty expensive. They see some of that start to fly in towards A, and that'll pull the rotations. And indeed, it actually started to. The footsteps immediately coming over here towards B. They have to deal with Hobbit, who's on short. Krisen opens up despite being tagged down at 16 HP, and Hobbit, he's done so much damage, but he still might fall. There's the first frag to come in from him. Trade immediately there for Buster. And well, Mip and Mo tapping away. Suddenly 3 kills found. It's Quicker, the man who was trying to sell the fake in the A bomb site, left in a 1 versus 3. The P250 in hand, they're sticking the defuse. He has to be quick, and Mo gonna go ahead and take his head clean off. So Gambit, a 5th round, they win the pistol, and that's the start they needed on the CT side, Tom, to turn this into a good half.
Yeah, he didn't need to be quicker. He needed to be the quickest.
Wow, that was good, Tom. How long you been sitting on that one? Was that just spur
About
of the moment?
4 seconds.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say 4 rounds. I was like, okay, no, I admire the dedication.
I came up with this last year. I've just been waiting for my moment.
No, I pre-prepared a whole list of jokes last night.
I think the only time I've ever done that was for Gamescom show match, because I was literally like, there's going to be nothing to talk about, so I need to prepare some jokes.
Who was playing?
It was just like, it was 2 pros and then 8
That's
fans.
probably fair enough then, isn't it?
8 fans, yeah. So I prepared. Well,
Must have been a pretty cool room.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, no, that was actually awful. I just regret saying, I
There's a
regret
lot
every
more fans
decision I've
than I
ever
have,
made in
that's for
life
sure.
leading up to that moment. Look at this though from AVANGAR, Tom. You talk about big boys, big buys. They've got Deagles and PT50s.
You know what? I do always talk about big boys, you know? That is the one that I just sit at home and I just have a little chat about big boys.
Yeah, no, I mean, why not?
I love them when they're thick, Harry. That's what it is.
That's why me and you get on so well, Tom. I'm thick with 3 Cs. That's the bomb drop. Look at this. And they're going to have to go ahead and reclaim this down at the bottom mid. This is just not good. Krisen really does have his work cut out with the Deagle. This round's pretty much a write-off now. Just PT50s left alive. Only 2 players. The bomb's down. Okay. They found 2 kills very, very quickly between them. But they know where Quicker is. He's going to get completely... Oh! Please stop facing him. Finally, he goes down. They manage to deal with him. Trying to make some extra money with the SMGs, Tom. Instead, they throw it all away. But a 6th round for Gambit. The buy now comes in for AVANGAR thanks to that bomb plant in the 1st round.
Yeah, the thing is now is yeah, because they get that bomb down, we go into this round with, like, if anything, Gambit have a worse buy than them. AK's, okay, in terms of utility, Gambit are ahead, but realistically, I don't think that's been like the problem they've had so far. Just even individually, we haven't seen too much from this team. So they're actually going to take a tactical pause. I don't particularly blame them. Maybe they're going to try and throw something a little bit different. I know Adren actually did make enough money in that previous round that he could purchase up an AWP. So obviously not expecting him to be the one using it, but it's sort of like, oh, instead... Oh, I'm guessing something's been juggled over. I think he actually gave a rifle over to Mo. So that's a little bit weird. Instead, he ends up with an MP9. But, yeah, it's like this is AVANGAR's best chance. If they win this next round, they're 12-6 up. Gambit have no money, probably have to force. They win that round, and they're getting towards the end of the map. Now, granted, this is their map choice, and Overpass is one that I still have faith in Gambit on that map. It's just whether or not that faith is misplaced.
Well, I don't know if you played any Far Cry 3, but I meant 5, not Far Cry 3.
Oh no, yeah, I've
well, then I could have made a misplaced and faith joke about that, but instead, you know, I asked you the question. I wanted to establish where we stand, and I regret everything. Here's Adren with the MP9. As you said, he dropped the rifle over for Mo. Truly selfless player, plus he knows the MP9 is the superior SMG.
The Shredder.
Yeah. Buster secured control of the top of mid. 3 players for Gambit. Inside of that A-bomb site, you can see Mo is going to start to rotate around over towards the top of connector, but now they've lost the Dren. The pressure is going to be applied into the A-bomb site. The Ps just sound really, really harsh. And Mo, pretty good for 1 kill. It's Mir to try and trade things back. He has support still from Hobbit down here. Underneath the scaffolding, flash goes high. Hobbit, they know where he is now. Players pushing in, but he has to buy time and can't do it. Doge is going to manage one, but the trade's there. Krisen, fantastic double at the end of the round, and just like that, AVANGAR, they've stolen the 1st round away from Gambit on their T side.
Yeah, and now troubles really begin. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gambit force into this one, just because they get it down to 1 player. They're so far behind. But actually, it looks like they are going to play things safe. It means that going into the next round, well, we'll be able to see an AWP in some regard. I don't think it will be with Kevlar behind it, because I believe he's on 300. So he would be a little bit off. Maybe if he gets a kill. He has been given a P250, so that would be something nice. But the fact is, the T's, yeah, they win this one. They're only 3 rounds away from winning this first map. And it's sort of dangerous for Gambit just even being in this tournament, because you sort of see AVANGAR as definitely one of the weaker oppositions. They go through the sort of CIS qualifier, which in a lot of states, although it creates a lot of upsets throughout tournaments, it's not necessarily one that we ever expect one of the teams to be like winning against big teams. Like, they shouldn't be. They do, but they shouldn't be. And so if you're losing this one, then you could come up against one of the Asian teams who are renowned for upsets, or Na'Vi, or like, who else has already lost today? Well, either way, in the next match, you could be up against Godsend or Renegades. You don't want either of them either. So it's a pretty important match for either of these teams to get through. AVANGAR, they don't have the pressure on them. Doesn't get much easier than that, does it, Harry?
No.
When you walk into an empty site.
And there's just no one there to greet you.
There's no big boys around.
There aren't any big boys around. You know, looking over at Gambit, they definitely had their fair share of potential big boys in this round.
I just thought you were going to say they just have their fair share of big boys.
Yeah, well, that's true as well. Here is DB going to have a couple of players walking his way. Hobbit. Mir. And they're not able to find him. If they do, that's a pretty big win. You know, you can take a Galil into the next round. Regardless, it's going to be a 13th for AVANGAR, and it's just going to be the slaughter on these ecoing players. Gambit, obviously, if you're wondering what happened in that round, they stacked over towards the A-bomb site, just deciding that, you know, if AVANGAR come here, then we have 5 pistols inside the site, maybe we can get something done. If not, if they go towards B, you know, we don't even bother going for the retake. We kind of saw them start to filter on through at the end. You know, like, whatever. You know, some teams wouldn't. Some would have just opted to stay alive with the pistols, but I guess at this point, giving away a little bit of extra kill reward doesn't really matter so much as doing damage to the economy. But they don't manage to do any. Now the buy comes through. Mo's going to have that AWP up. Tommy, you were speaking about it. He's got it out over on the CT side. He doesn't have armor to go behind it. Didn't have the money to facilitate that. Does have the kit, though, out for the team, along with a Dread. He's been relegated down to the CZ. But Mir, he's going to be the man to find the first frag down here towards the ramp. So man advantage taken early on for Gambit. Potential rifle can be retrieved. It was a Dread who didn't have one. He's going to fall over in Palace. But the man advantage maintained thanks to Hobbit.
Well, we are seeing a little bit of a rotation back towards the B site from both teams. It's worth noting, when we did see these teams play previously, it was Train that was the first map, and AVANGAR actually managed to win that 16-4. That is the 3rd map of the series. So really, a Gambit, they want to be putting up a bigger performance here. Train has always been a pretty good map for them, though. Again, a strong AWP map, a strong map for Mo. So I do feel like he needs to be one of the standout performers in this series. Mir, well positioned, already going to be able to pick himself up 1, 2, and the 3rd doesn't quite come, but he's done enough. Mo holding the cross, and Dosia there as well. It will be a 7th round on the board for Gambit. And again, like, although there was the clean round previously that came in from the T side, before that the round was very, very close. So it's not like their cash is anything ludicrous just yet. They should be able to buy back into this one, and they can, even with an AWP onto Jame. But if Gambit can win this one, they can definitely build themselves back into the map.
They most certainly can, Tom. I have to agree with you there. Gambit are not out of this one just yet. A team known as well for their resilience in situations like these. Now, Jame and Quicket were heading over here towards B early on. Perhaps going to try and play off the spawn to go for the early peek into that B bomb site, but it gets denied by the Molotov. Instead, James repositioned down here. And he's going to find the first onto Mo, who attempts to go ahead and find a man advantage on the back of a more aggressive play with the AWP. He's going to come to regret that decision as he falls. Now the pressure falls to a Dread. In an attempt to try and trade, he gets spotted out in connector. This is a very tricky angle to try and win the fight from now. Does get forced away from it. Man advantage still in favor of AVANGAR. They've got plenty of time still to play with. Gambit, the question now becomes, are you going to be trying to pick yourself up the amount of advantage? Do you just turtle down while they're going to lose Mir? And that now forces to have to try and make a play somewhere. Doja does manage one. The pressure now falls to Hobbit, who does have the crossfire set up with Doja on short. This is a very horrible angle to try an entry in from the rest of AVANGAR. And they're going to get held back. What a turnaround this has been.
40 seconds or less on the clock, and the T's, they're going to try and push back into the middle. Dosia doesn't expect them to actually go through this angle, and they're going to split back towards the B site. The only problem is Adrem, but James finds that kill as well. He's the man with the bomb. He's actually going to double back towards the A site, though, and I feel like they're just confusing themselves here. Hobbit may be able to end this round if he gets the kill, but James, well, his decision-making may have not been the best, but his aim definitely was. 4 kills in that round, 14-7, AVANGAR in the lead, and well, now the CT's money screwed.
I really don't like that they win that round, though, Tom. They shouldn't. That's like how you enforce bad habits, right?
He got caught in 2 different angles, like, but still wins the duel.
You see the decision-making with their original thing of like, okay, yeah, we'll go back to B. They won't see it coming, you know. They'll start to rotate players away. And it was nice. It worked. It caught everyone off guard. But then Hobbit's like, okay, let's go B. You can tell, like, he's going, and my voice cracked, but he's going up through through apartments. And
no one noticed.
Someone else cracked, perhaps, under the pressure. And that was James. He just decides heading towards the A bomb site. But you're exactly right. If he goes down there, that's bomb dropped, and there's no time. Like, you know, at that point, Hobbit could just play for the time, hide around the bomb. This round, Mo's going to try and go aggressive once again. And again, he gets punished for it by Buster this time. So man advantage early on in favor of AVANGAR. Feels like that's something we've been saying a hell of a lot. As now Gambit are forced to try and play this round in a 4v5.
Yeah, I definitely think that in terms of like the defaults and just holding angles, it's definitely where we see AVANGAR thrive. Also, I'm pretty sure that when Mir played for Vegas Squadron, he was their short B player. So he's in a completely different spot to what he's used to. I always enjoyed, actually, the aggression that he would pull out on that side of the map. So I wonder if that's just a sort of quick fix for now, where as he's the quote-unquote stand-in, he's just literally slotting into a lot of the spots. But that could definitely be a problem, especially when we head into Overpass, where, again, like we used to see a hell of a lot of CT side aggression from the Vegas Squadron side on that map, and he's not necessarily going to be in the spots that he would like to play. Either way, seems like the world doesn't revolve around Mir at the moment, but the CT side, they do have themselves a nice little read. 3 players on the correct side of the site. Wicket looking to lead by example, and actually Buster's Molotov is going to do enough to open things up. Mir can't spray them down, and it is 3 quick kills, a bomb plant within the nick of time, and Hobbit into a 1 versus 4.
This is not looking likely for him. Can't stress that enough. But he's going to attempt to try and find something anyway. He does tag down quicker. Unfortunately, that's just showing him up as a little blip on the radar. They all know where he is. And Buster's going to be the man to put a bullet through his skull. That now means AVANGAR, they're going to have him reach 15-7. Map point here on Mirage. They are looking fantastic right now. And for Gambit, well, we haven't really seen too much, have we, Tom?
No, it's been a pretty underwhelming performance. In fact, the top fragger on their team is Mir, the new boy on the block, alongside Adren. And, yeah, we've not seen much from Mo or Hobbit all the way through. So they're going to risk it. Well, they don't have a choice. And already Mo is dead again. He does hit the tag, but if he had his orb, that would have been a kill.
Yeah, now Gambit, they have really struggled at recovering from being a man down. Let's not forget, this is the map pick of AVANGAR, so there is still Overpass to try and stay true to the side of Gambit. Prolifically, it's a map they're pretty good on as well. But AVANGAR just working with this mid pick. They start to aggress on down. They know that Gambit don't really have the weaponry to take many of these long-range fights. There is still that scout up on the back of a Dren. He's down towards CT spawn, but that smoke going to negate his position from helping out. Now, Hobbit not going to find one. Instead, he's going to fall, leaving all the pressure on the Doja with the Deagle. So many players coming his way, and Doja's completely surrounded. Does manage the first, not the second, though, as Buster finds the trade. It's Mir and Adren. 2 versus 4 in the retake, and Adren going to get beheaded. Buster is feeling it right now, and he's going to close out the round. 16-7 in favor of AVANGAR here on Mirage. They're able to get the quick W versus Gambit. there was a time where that was 10-0 in favor of AVANGAR.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a nice attempt at the recovery from Gambit. They just couldn't quite get that ball rolling, it felt like.
Yeah, no, well, if anything, they just looked like they were being out-aimed. Like, individually, AVANGAR are a very sound team. I don't think that's ever been called into question. They've caused upsets in the past, and they've started things off exactly how they need to. And Gambit, they need to, like, a real kick up the backside and get into gear.
Kick up the arse, Tom, I believe is what they say.
Yeah, well, I was saying it in a more polite manner.
Sometimes, you know, with a team like Gambit, they prefer, like, the rough stuff.
Are you talking about big boys again?
No,
Is this
I'm
where
not.
we're
I'm
going?
not. You know, so
They like it rough and tough.
You got to be brutally honest, you know, with a team like Gambit. Yeah, we need to see a recovery. Overpass, good map for them though.
Yeah.
I think maybe we can see them turn it around in that second map. But let's speak just a little bit about the first one. As you were saying, it did really feel like AVANGAR succeeded in the aim department, but also I think, aside from a few shaky decisions maybe by Jame, we won't talk about those, I think the decision making was pretty good overall as well.
Well, that's a scary thing. I think, okay, Jame made a couple of, like, risky decisions, but the fact is, like, they're playing against a team that should punish those and didn't. That's the most worrying thing for me, at least, because Gambit are the team that, well, they've obviously in the past won a major. They should be, like, pushing for the at least, like, top 10. They'd probably want more. AVANGAR are not even on the radar when it comes to that. So the fact that they've just come into this, they've swept Gambit aside, they made it look pretty damn easy, a 10-0 start, and most of those rounds weren't close. Like, a cup 1 or 2, you went, okay, maybe, but some of them it was like, oh yeah, look, Mo's in a 1v5. You're just like, how does that even happen? And no damage had been done. So it's problematic to say the least. Gambit, they go on to one of their more favorable maps. The reason I think this has come in is because when they played online, they tried to go for Train, and that ended very badly indeed. And that is the third map of the series, so, wow, I don't know what to expect anymore.
It's all up in the air. Next map, Gambit will go for broke.